My name is Joe Myers, and I'm with the Oklahoma State University Library. Today is April 16, 2012, and I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, meeting at OSU Tulsa with Roy Michael. I'll be interviewing Roy today as part of the Spotlighting Oklahoma Oral History series of the Oklahoma Oral History Research Program. Thank you for meeting here today. Thank you. Roy, can you tell me a little bit about your family and what your childhood was like?
Well, my dad worked in the oil field. He was a gauger for Texaco, and my mother was a housewife, and I just went to school till I finished high school there in Sapulpa.
Okay.
Then I went away 1 year to college.
Okay. So it was just you and your folks. Did you have any brothers or sisters?
I had a brother, but he went to Oklahoma Military Academy.
I see. Where was that Oklahoma Military Academy?
Claremore.
Claremore at that time. That's where Rogers State University
Yes,
is now,
sir.
right?
Yes.
Okay. What was school like for you there in Sapulpa growing up?
It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun?
When you look back on it, yeah.
How so? What was fun about it?
Well, I was in the band,
Uh-huh.
and we used to take trips and bus trips and all that.
What instrument did you play?
Drums.
Drums. All right. Like those big old keg or kettle drums, I guess, or whatever?
No, just regular snare drum.
Just a snare drum. Okay. Well, good. Did you participate in any sports in high school? Or
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I got torn up early.
I see.
Trying to play football, so I didn't.
I see. So you say you went to a year of college after you finished high school?
Yeah, I went up to Parkville, Missouri.
Parkville. What school was that?
It's a Presbyterian college.
I see. What kind of work did you do before you entered the service, or were you just a student when you entered at that time?
Well, about the only work, I worked from when I was 11,
Uh-huh.
because all the guys were gone in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And no, the best job I ever had, I was working for a Texas production company down in Pauls Valley
Uh-huh.
when I got activated to go to Korea.
Okay. Let's step back a little bit. You said you had jobs since you were 11 years old. What kind of jobs?
Oh,
did you
working in service station and J.C. Penney's and printing company, cleaning presses, and just odds and ends.
All kinds of things. Was that by necessity, or was that just by choice?
By choice.
By choice. Okay. So you were working down in Pauls Valley when you were activated. What were you doing down in Pauls Valley again?
Working for Texas production company.
Texas Production. That's an oil field service company, or?
Not Texaco.
Oh, for Texas.
Texaco Incorporated.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my dad worked for them over 40 years.
Okay. Well, what were you doing down there for Texaco?
Mowing grass and cleaning up after flood and
Okay.
stuff like that.
Okay. And you say you had gotten activated. You were in the.
I was in the Tulsa Marine Reserves.
Okay.
My best friend I went to school with, he and his brother his brother was in the Second War, and he was still in the reserves.
Mm-hmm.
And so my friend talked me in to join the Tulsa Reserves.
What was your friend's name?
Tom Gish.
Tom Gish. Okay. And so he was in the reserves already, and he talked you in to jumping in there with him.
Yep.
Okay.
Make some extra easy money.
How old were you when you joined up?
18.
18. So you could join on your own. You didn't have to have your parents sign for you.
No.
No. What were the Marine Reserves like at that time? Were they?
Well, we go to 2-week summer camp every year at Pendleton.
Uh-huh.
And we'd train right there in Tulsa and at the Reserve Center.
I see.
And have classes, and that's about it.
Okay. Where was that reserve center at? Do you remember?
It used to be on the fairgrounds
Okay.
at 15th and just across the street from the ballpark.
Gotcha. That was that big stone. It's still there. The building's still there as far as the stone structure. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Or sandstone. That's what it was. Big sandstone building. Yeah. So you were you joined up in the Marine Reserves when you were 18. What year was that?
48, I think,
1948. Okay.
or early 49.
Okay.
I'm not real sure. I'd have to look at my DD 214.
What was the general kind of feeling about, I guess, for society towards the military at the time? I know there had been a big drawdown.
Well, I came from kind of a military family. My dad was in World War I, and my brother was in World War II.
Uh-huh.
And so, and I belonged to some organizations as Sons of the American Legion and things like that, where it's your patriotic duty.
Exactly. Okay. So was that your primary or your secondary idea when you were joining up the Marine Reserves? Patriotic duty. Because you'd already said it was some pretty easy money as far as that goes.
Well, there wasn't too much money either. I don't know. I just kind of liked the close order drill, and at a young age.
Mm-hmm. So you just kind of called to it, if you will, right?
Right.
Okay. So, can you tell me anything about your life, I guess, there at the end of World War II? Do you remember much about that time?
Well, I was in junior high school.
Uh-huh. How was that?
It was during the war, and things were tight.
Uh-huh.
Gas rationing and food rationing and everything.
Wow. Okay.
But I don't remember much about it.
You say your brother served in World War II?
In the last part, yes, sir.
Where was he at, do you know?
He was in Germany.
I see. In tanks, or was he in?
No, he was in constabulary.
What exactly is that?
Well, kind of he flew, he was a photographer that flew in L5s
Uh-huh.
and took pictures of the enemy lines.
I see. Okay. So you joined up with the Marine Reserves when you were 18, and it was your buddy who had kind of instigated
Talked
that.
me into it. That's right.
What do you recall about your first days in the Marine Reserves?
Oh, the first day, I liked the Marine Reserves. It's when we got, after they activated us,
Uh-huh.
and we all went to Camp Pendleton, and some of those rough, tough sergeants been there all their lives. We've kind of scared to death of them until we got used to them.
Sure. When were you activated? Do you remember what?
It was, I think, July 31st or something like that of 1950.
1950. Okay. So you went to Pendleton. You say you didn't go to boot camp, is that right?
I never did go to boot camp.
Okay.
No, they did a bunch of hot bodies, and there was a lot of us skipped boot.
Okay. So your training, your summer camp training from 1948 to 1950, that accounted for your boot camp?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We worked off ships, down nets, landing craft, and taking mountains, and
Sure. And that was at Pendleton,
at Pendleton.
getting ready? Okay. How long were you there at Pendleton before you shipped out?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
From July 31st, I was in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma, and then we went by train from Tulsa to Camp Pendleton. And then we trained about 2 weeks, went aboard a ship at San Diego, and shipped out for Japan. And we went to Kobe, Japan, and stored our sea bags in a warehouse there, and combat loaded, and hit the beach, Inchon Landing, September 15th.
Okay.
So that's not much time.
Not at all. Not at all. What kind of boats did you take over when you headed out from San Diego?
APA. General ship, yeah.
Okay. How was that trip over? How long? That was a couple weeks?
Couple of weeks, yeah. We went through 2 typhoons too.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it gets pretty rough out there. But it didn't bother me then.
Yeah.
But now if I go aboard a ship and it just rocks a little bit, I get a little bit woozy at the stomach.
So on the ship heading over, how many were there to a berth? How many so far?
We were down about 6, 7 decks, and they had bunks stacked about 8 high.
No kidding. No kidding.
They had us stuffed in.
So 8 high.
It seemed like
Yeah.
6 or 8.
I had I've talked to a few other folks. Sleep with your sea bag between your legs in the rack, that sort of thing.
For a pillow, yeah.
For a pillow. Okay. What was there any training or anything like that, like continuing training that you did
Aboard ship.
aboard ship? Yep.
We trained all the way over, yes.
Okay. What kind of training did you do on the ship heading over there?
Well, mostly strategy and field stripping your weapons and tactics and all this kind of stuff.
Okay. How much of the day would be taken up with that? And how much of the day would be taken up with training while you're on the boats heading over?
Oh, we'll say 6, 7 hours.
6, 7 hours. Who's doing all the training at that time? Was that your
Lieutenant.
the lieutenant? Or okay. How did you guys entertain yourselves while you were heading over there on the boats?
Played cribbage.
Cribbage?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a card game, right?
No, it's you got a pegboard and you got that. I don't even know how to play it now. It's been so long. But
I think my dad actually built those cribbage boards, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, you get points and then get you to move your peg and.
Okay. Did you see any entertainers or anything like that? I talked to a fellow a while back who said they showed up somewhere and Bob Hope had left the day before or something like that.
We made Inchon Landing,
Uh-huh.
and the Bob Hope show was at Inchon.
Uh-huh.
And the reason we got in so late was the harbor was mined,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to sit off for 10 days and go back and forth waiting for them to clear the harbor.
Mm-hmm.
By that time, the ground troops had moved up and
Kind of secured that
let
area.
Bob Oak move in. I didn't see him though.
Okay.
No, they put us down to, well, first when we left Japan, we hit Inchon
Mm-hmm.
and went across and captured Seoul again.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought the Army up and replaced us. And we went back aboard LSTs. And then that's when we went up to Wonsan.
Okay. So at Inchon, that was the initial kind of left hook, and then that took you up
yeah.
That took you up to Seoul. Is that right?
Yeah, they had the North Koreans had pushed what little troops they had down to the Pusan, Pusan perimeter, and we went in at Inchon, and we were supposed to be able to cut them off and then push them together.
Okay. How did that go when you got to Inchon and then into Seoul? What was that like for you?
It's a different kind of living because you're living in a hole in the ground just like an animal, and trying to survive. And they like to fight at night, so you moved all day and only got half a night's sleep. Other than that, I was glad to get aboard the LST. Had hot coffee, and we had sleeping bags so we could sleep on deck.
Oh, out on the top deck?
Yeah.
I see. That was when you got done at Seoul and you're pulling back, heading around to Wonsan?
Wonsan, yes. And just as soon as we hit Wonsan, they put us on flat cars on a train that took us south to Kojo.
Okay.
And yeah, we got in a pretty good firefight down there.
In Kojo?
Yes.
Okay. How did that go? About what day was that? Do you remember? Right.
I have no idea.
Probably late October, early November, something like that.
November, probably.
November. Okay. So how did that firefight start down in Kojo?
Well, they were actually. I was in Naval Company, and these North Koreans or whoever they were came from the south, and they wiped out half of B Company, killed them in their sleeping bags, and then came on up and attacked our hill. And they killed one of our guys, but the rest of them pushed them back down the hill.
How long did that firefight go on?
Oh, about 30 minutes.
About 30 minutes. That was during the evening time or night time?
No, that was nighttime.
Nighttime.
Yeah, they sneak around at night.
Had they blown their bugles and whistles and all that before they attacked? Or
I think they do that every time they'd attack.
Nope.
You knew when they were coming.
Yeah.
And you could smell the garlic.
Yeah. That was from what they ate?
Sir?
Was that from what the garlic from what they were eating, or?
The garlic they ate, yeah. If you moved in an area where they were, you could really smell the garlic. Just had a different smell. When you start smelling that, you better pay attention.
Yeah. What was your military job, your MOS, while you were in?
Rifleman.
Rifleman. Okay. So that's
311, I think.
311. Yeah. Okay.
And then they I started out as a BARman, and then I ended up later on as fire team leader.
Okay.
And
you might explain what a BARman is for us.
Well, BAR is a Brownie automatic rifle. It'll fire single shots, semi or full automatic. But if you fire full automatic, when you get in a firefight, you're shooting at flashes. And if you fire automatic and you got a tracer every fifth round, they're going to start shoving the ammo back at you.
They're going to see your tracer coming at them and be able to pick you out.
Yeah.
I see.
And then you can watch their tracers come right at you. So I always fired semi-automatic.
Okay. A lot of people don't know that tracers are different colors.
They've got a red nose.
They've got a red nose?
Yeah.
That was on ours or on theirs?
On ours.
On ours, okay.
Yeah, on our ammo, you'd put, every fifth round you put in would be a tracer.
Did they have different color tracers for theirs? Were theirs green or?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I never got that far.
Do you, in your time over there, do you remember or recall anything that was particularly humorous or unusual about your time there in Korea?
Not really.
Not really.
No.
Nothing humorous, nothing unusual?
No, it was just cold, and we didn't really have the equipment for the cold weather.
Yeah.
And they finally issued snow packs and parkas and those real good sleeping bags. But
Those mummy type sleeping bags you get in cold weather?
yes, sir.
Bags?
Yeah.
Okay. How did they issue those cold packs to you?
I don't remember.
Okay. What can you tell me about the unit you were with when you were in Korea?
Well, actually, I was in Able Company, but all I worried about was the 3rd Platoon,
Sure.
the 3 squads. And this Tom Gish that talked me into getting into Marine Reserves, he ended up in the platoon with me.
I see.
And he got shot, about 8 or 9 days after we made Inchon, and went back to the States.
Okay. So he survived being shot and made it back to the
Oh
States.
yeah, he just kind of went through his helmet and
Oh,
grazed his skull.
Wow.
It scared him to death.
I'll bet. So you were in Able Company. What do you remember your battalion, or was it like the 2-7, or was it
First Battalion.
First Battalion?
First and first.
First. Okay, that makes it easy to remember.
Yeah, I was the Able Company, 3rd Platoon, 2nd Squad, 2nd Fire Team.
You so when you came around to Wonsan, finally got past it cleared the harbor. You guys were able to get on, you said flat cars and head
Yeah,
out
they took
from
us
there?
in on Amtrak's
Okay.
and then put us on a flat car train and took us south to Kojo.
Okay. So from Kojo, where did you go from there?
We loaded on the train, went back to Wonsan, and then we worked our way up to the Hill 1081, which was by the Fuchon Pass or whatever the name of that is. And they had a bridge that had been blown out at the pass.
That was the Treadway Bridge?
Yes. And so our objective was to take 1081, Hill 1081, and it overlooked the pass, so we could protect it. And it was in a blizzard, and it was snowing, and we went up the first part of the mountain, and our Captain Barrows, he was in China prior to coming to Korea, And he was later commandant of the Marine Corps too.
Oh.
And but he heard the Chinese are talking, and so he just bedded us down right there until the next morning, and then we attacked the crest of the mountain.
That was on Hill 1081?
1081.
Do you remember what day that was? Or what the date was?
I didn't ever know what the date was or where we were going.
Oh, wow.
I just followed my fire team leader,
Sure.
whatever he said.
So that would have been probably a couple days after Thanksgiving, I'm sure. If you didn't-
Yeah, we did. We had supposedly hot meal, but the time you got it and you got ready to eat, it was frozen.
How did they, as far as the hot meals, do they ship those up in Merrimack canisters, or were you getting to see?
No, it's
sea rations?
field kitchen
Okay,
right with us.
okay.
But mostly we ate sea rations.
Okay. How are the sea rations? How'd they treat you?
If that's all you got to eat, it tastes pretty good.
What was your favorite meal out of the sea rations? Do you recall?
Weenie beanies.
Weenie beanies?
Yeah, and lima beans were the worst.
Oh my gosh. Somebody a while back was talking about you'd get a pack of cigarettes with the sea rations back then.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How many was this, like a short pack or?
I think there was just four cigarettes.
Okay.
And then every once in a while they'd bring up cases of cartons
Oh.
of cigarettes, all different brands.
Mm-hmm.
And after everybody picked out what they wanted, the Chesterfields would still be there. I remember that. Yeah, but board ship or base, they were just, cigarettes were just $1 a carton.
No kidding.
10 cents a pack compared to $5 a pack now.
Good grief. Good grief. So was it your platoon that was headed up to Hill 1081 there and took that hill?
We took that hill, yes.
How long?
Pushed the Chinese off the backside, and I think Baker Company was down there to Baker and Charlie. They were on two different sides. But we called, like I said, it was snowing, and we called an airstrike in, but the planes couldn't get out. So we went ahead and took the mountain, and next day here those planes come in, and they killed one or two of the guys, and till we got our panels out.
Yeah.
And
What kind of panels? Just for
we
people who
carried
don't know.
air panels and different colors for different days, and yeah, when you start getting strafed, you get those out fast.
That's so the guys can see from the air what that they're friendlies in the air.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They probably got on the radio and told them that too.
I'm sure. So they came in that
They
next
were
morning.
Navy pilots.
Oh, Navy pilot. They in Corsairs or
No, they were something else.
prop planes or?
Well, yeah, they're all props.
Okay.
Those jets, when they'd come in, they'd have to put full flaps to slow them up enough to strafe.
No kidding.
That's the way it seemed to me.
Huh.
But yeah, we stayed on 1081 for 3 or 4, 5 days, and they'd already started moving from Chosen Reservoir, moving out to Ham Hung.
Uh-huh.
I get those two mixed up, Ham and Hung Nam,
Oh, hung out. Yep.
to the port city.
Yes.
And Yeah, everybody just file in the back of the column until we all got out of there.
Oh,
I turned in, everybody had frozen hands and feet, and
ooh.
I turned into sick bay, and I don't remember a thing after that until I ended up in South Korea and Mason. And I don't know, I just lost a few days there.
What happened that took you to sick bay?
Frozen feet,
You had frozen
had
feet?
black toes, and
Okay. So it would have been frostbite from that?
yes.
Okay. What kind of, what was your outcome on that? Were they able to fix you up, or did you lose any toes?
No, I didn't lose any toes. I do draw 40% for frozen hands and feet.
No kidding.
And, well, all total, counting PTSD and unemployability and all that, I draw 100%.
I see. I see. So you guys sat on the hill there for 4 or 5 days at 1081. How often?
And watched the troops coming out.
Watch them coming out. How often did you get it? Did you see any? Did you get any North Koreans or Chinese that far south at 1081 that were trying to push over after you'd initially pushed them?
I
off
would
that
say
backside?
we pushed almost a division off 1081.
Just on that first day.
Yeah, they were all over.
Wow. Wow.
And then we had to fight our way out. They had us surrounded.
Okay. So when you're fighting your way out, you guys were the last ones to kind of fall into the line to move out. Is that right? Or one of the last units to fall
One
out?
of the last, yeah.
Okay. So how was that moving out in that direction, back south?
Well, it was in the mountains and the roads weren't very much.
Yeah.
And we walked all the way out.
How wide were those roads, do you think?
10 feet.
10 feet?
That's
10
about
foot
it.
wide road. About wide enough for a vehicle to go up it or down it, right?
Yes, sir.
I see. What, just so that people who read this kind of get an idea, you're standing on the road, what's the angle of the
Well,
mountains
it's
going
down, straight down this way, and it comes up, and then it goes back up the other side.
Okay, so you've got probably what, a 35-degree angle or a 35 to 30 degree angle going up and then down off the other side as well?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You said the Chinese would come at you as you're moving out. Were they attacking during the
Well,
daytime?
no, they were just sniper from
Just
the
sniping.
hills.
Okay.
Which by that time we didn't care.
Yeah.
We didn't even hide from them.
So you were on 1081 long enough. Did they set up any warming tents or anything like that for you guys, or
Not up there.
no? When you set up on top of that hill, where you just dig in?
Well, the Chinese had bunkers up there.
Uh-huh.
The one I was in had a fallen tree, and then it was there were the bunker I was assigned to. There was 3 dead Chinese, we assumed, and they were frozen stiff. And my squad leader protected me with his rifle, and I pulled the first one out and slid him down the mountain. And I pulled the second one out and slid him down the mountain. And when I got a hold of the third one, he sat up and he was still alive,
Oh.
gurgling, and so nothing we could do for him.
Yeah. Did you put
But
him?
that'll scare you.
Did you put him down the mountain, or they just?
Yeah.
I see. But he'd been shot, or he'd been.
Well, yeah, my fire team leader went ahead and shot him.
I see.
And because there's nothing they could do for him up there.
Right. So you took their position over. Did you have an assigned field of fire that you were watching that entire time?
Up on the hill?
Yes.
Yeah.
About what, as far as the compass goes, where would you say you were at, from like 360?
I think I was on the south side.
Were you on the south side? Okay.
Yeah, because Fushan Pass, or whatever that was on the other side of the mountain.
I see.
Yeah, Hill 1081 kind of came up and went straight across, and then it turned and went way on up on top.
Okay. Were you up at the very top, or just down on the lower portion?
No, we had a fighter way up to the top, but we took all the top of the mountain.
Okay. And that's where that position was that you were able to
Yes, sir.
work out of?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was still 30 degrees below zero.
30 degrees below. Yep.
It was cold.
How many, you say every night the Chinese would kind of battle back towards you while you were on 1081 there, on Hill 1081?
No, they never
They didn't come back.
re-attacked us.
Okay. They just kind of fell back into the hillsides from there?
I don't know where they went, but they were gone.
They were gone. Okay. So you didn't have very much resistance there for the 3 or 4 days or 5 days you were there on 1081?
Not after we took the hill. We lost quite a few men taking that hill.
How many do you think you lost?
Half of us.
How many would that be, just for
Oh,
numbers' sake? It'd be 3 platoons, right?
there'd be 3 platoons, yeah. Probably 30, 40 guys
Okay.
wounded or killed or something.
Okay. Did you get any reinforcements after those folks were killed or
Not
wounded?
till we got shipped down south. And,
Okay.
when we went to Mason, then they replaced the guys.
Okay. So no replacements on the hill. You just had to
No,
stand fast with what you had.
we got a replacement in Wonsan.
Uh-huh.
That was the first replacement that came to Korea. And then when we got back down to Mason,
Uh-huh.
then they gave us some more troops.
I see. You keep in touch with any of the guys that were there with you after the war?
Like I say, I belong to Able,
Uh-huh.
First Marines, and they have a reunion every year, someplace in the United States. And next year is going to be in Virginia, and last year it was in New Orleans.
I see.
And we try to go West Coast once, and Central United States and East Coast, so if people can't afford to travel, they can at least make 1 out of 3.
Sure. Do you keep in touch with the guys in that fashion?
Yeah, most of my friends are dead though.
Okay.
My fire team leader and like Tom Gish, he's dead. He was my best friend. And I knew a bunch. We had a bunch of reserves from Tucson,
Oh,
and I knew a bunch of them and corresponded with them, but they've since died.
I see.
But that's about all I know about North Korea
Okay.
and the Chosen.
What were you awarded any medals or citations?
Well, I got a Purple Heart and a letter of commendation with Combat V and a Corps in Service Medal with 5 battle stars. And then a bunch of them, I don't even know what they are.
So once you got back with, you were at the,
Got a Presidential Unit Citation from the United States and also from South Korea
I see, that was for the war itself or for that
for the
battle?
war itself.
I see. Did you ever, you know, the Korean government had those trips that they would host for soldiers who were there?
I never went on one.
Never took advantage of that? Why not? Did you just not have the time, or?
I didn't much care about going over there again.
I see.
And have you seen pictures of Seoul the way it is now?
I have.
It looks like New York City.
I have, it does. It does.
And when I was there, we either blew it down or burned it down. There wasn't much left.
What kind of
Just rubble.
Just rubble? What kind of stress or pressure did you think you felt either then or afterwards from your military service?
That's a hard question. I know it makes a difference. I think if I'd never gone over there, I would have been a different person than going over there for a year and coming out.
How so? How did it make you different?
I
How do you
can't
think?
explain that.
Okay.
It's just what psychologists have told me.
Okay. Make you a little bit more aware of your surroundings, I guess, or?
It makes you pay attention.
Yeah.
It makes you nervous.
Okay.
And I was going to tell you something else, but I forgot. So
About the stress or the
about
yeah,
PTSD.
Yeah. What about that? Tell me a little about that.
It's just any combat veteran that goes through all that, it probably ends up just like in Afghanistan. All those guys,
Yep.
they're a different person
Yep.
than when they left.
Do you think it made you angry or regretful? Or
Never thought about that.
Yeah.
But I turned 20 in Inchon when we came back to go aboard the LSTs. And no, I was just glad to get rotated home and come home on a ship. Went to Treasure Island, went home for a month, and then I was, they told me I could have any duty station I wanted, and they assigned me to Key West, Florida.
How was that duty?
It was a Spitshine outfit for Harry S. Truman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain to us what a split-shine outfit is.
You had to stay sharp and keep all your clothes ironed and metals polished, and yeah, I was in Drum Bugle Corps down there.
Okay. So that was for Truman, for
Well,
like
Harry S. Truman had a little White House
uh-huh.
down there and a yacht and I don't know what all.
Okay.
He's the only president I ever shook hands with.
No kidding.
He came aboard base.
Is there anything special you did for good luck, or anything you carried with you for good luck?
No.
No. I haven't really encountered a whole lot of guys who have.
I didn't even think about it. I know we were scared all the time.
Sure, sure. How about a journal? Do you carry a journal or keep a diary or anything
No.
like that? Write letters home to anybody?
Once in a while, yeah.
Did you get any letters while you're there in Korea?
I got a few, yeah.
Who from?
My parents
Parents.
and a girlfriend,
Okay.
yeah.
She mail you regularly or?
No,
No.
she just now and then.
Okay. When she got a chance. Did you?
Then when I got home, she was engaged to marry somebody else. So
Isn't that the way it always works out?
that's right. When you're out of sight and out of mind.
Yep. Where were you when the war ended? When the Korean War ended?
I hate to say this, but after I got home and went down to Key West, Florida, I completely forgot about the Korean War. Didn't keep up with it or any of it.
Sure, sure. Just trying to distance yourself from it, you think?
I think, yeah, just forget it.
Sure, sure. So,
I went over there, I weighed 215 pounds. When I came home, I weighed 175.
my goodness,
So climbing those hills, that'll take it off of you.
for sure. That's for sure.
Tell you what, let's end this, will you?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, 'cause I'm getting the shakes.
Okay, I understand. Is there anything else that you might want to talk about prior to ending it?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Anything to say to any of the current veterans, younger guys in these current wars?
I don't know whether I'm allowed to say this, but I don't think our government's doing as much for them as they should
Sure.
about their medical and PTSD, and
Yeah,
a lot of them have really a lot of trouble.
that's the truth. That's the truth. Well, Roy, I appreciate you coming and talking with me today. I certainly do, and I want to thank you for your service.
All right.
so
Thank you,
much.
sir.
You're welcome.